Have you ever gone to an Indian restaurant and ordered a butter chicken and got a bowl of orange sauce with a few sad little bits of chicken sort of hiding in it somewhere? Yeah, me too. My theory is you can always tell the quality of an Indian restaurant by the quality of their butter chicken. So a couple of years ago, I thought I'd try and test a whole lot of butter chicken recipes to see if I could replicate the best butter chicken I'd ever had at a restaurant. It had to have, obviously, heaps of flavour, tomatoes and onions that you could actually see, and of course, heaps of chicken. So today's recipe is a combination of all those recipes I tried out. It's got heaps of flavour and texture, is really easy to make at home, and really easy to turn into either a vegetarian or vegan curry. And a butter chicken pie. It's time for a quickie. Now, the first thing we have to do is make the sauce to marinate the chicken in. Now, if you want to make this vegetarian, this will all work. You just have to have vegetables instead of chicken. But if you want to make it vegan, I would suggest taking out the Greek yogurt and putting in a coconut yogurt or a coconut cream. In a bowl, combine a 200 gram tin of tomatoes with 170 grams of yogurt. Then add 180 grams of almond meal, a 2 centimetre piece of grated fresh ginger, and 3 or 4 cloves of diced garlic. Then we add the spices. I'm using 1 teaspoon of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of ground cardamom, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a quarter of a teaspoon of cloves, and half a teaspoon of chilli with 1 teaspoon of salt. The last thing we need to put in is the orange for the butter chicken. I get these powdered food colourings from my Indian supermarket. You have to be incredibly careful when you use it though, because it stains everything. And I found that out the hard way. Maybe let's try just a teaspoon. Put that in. It's more of a red colour, but once it all mixes in, you're going to get a very vibrant orange. Quite unnatural but delicious. I'm just going to remove some of this for our vegetarian dish. You can add some stock to thin that out a bit. And the next thing I'm going to do is put a kilo of chicken into that and let it marinate for about 2 hours or even overnight. Traditionally, butter chicken is cooked in ghee, which is the Indian version of clarified butter. Now, if you don't have any, you can just use butter. If you're lactose intolerant, of course, or vegan, you can just use olive oil. But I suppose then it wouldn't really be butter chicken, it'd be butterless veg. The first thing you need to do is slice up your onions. Half rings are great, give a beautiful texture to the dish. Heat up a heavy pan and add your ghee, butter or olive oil. When it's bubbling, throw in the onions and let them cook down until they've softened. Then you can add the pieces of chicken. I also add mushrooms at this stage for a little bit extra flavour and texture. Now this is where you need to make a decision. You can either put this on a simmer, put the lid on and let it cook away until the whole thing is cooked through, or you can do what I love to do and bake the butter chicken. So I'm going to add the rest of my sauce here, which I've put a little bit of stock in to thin it down, and I'm going to put it in a baking dish and then into a 200-degree oven for about half an hour. What's going to happen then is that it's all going to start to caramelise. The little bits of chicken on top are going to start browning, and the whole thing is going to be absolutely delicious. For the vegetarian version of our butter vegetables, I've roasted up some eggplant, some sweet potato and some mushrooms. Put them in the oven at about 200 degrees for 45 minutes with some olive oil and salt, and they get beautiful and charred. The next thing we need to do is fry off some more butter or olive oil and cook off our onions. Then you need to add that sauce we put aside beforehand. Once that's all bubbling and the onions and aromatics have cooked off, we can add our veggies in. Or if you like, you can heat up your veggies, serve them on rice and pour the sauce over the top. Now that I've got a beautiful butter chicken cooked, I'm going to show you the most popular thing on my catering menu, a butter chicken pie. Now I have a beautiful Breville pie maker, not an advertising, it just happens to be the one I have, and it is incredible for making little party pies. The first thing you need to do is, using the little utensil, cut out the bottom of the pie with short crust pastry and push it very carefully into the hot pie maker, using a bit of flour on the device they've given you. Then you need to fill it with your butter chicken. I've cut up some of those mushrooms and shredded the chicken, added a little bit more sauce. Then we put the lid on the pie, which is usually using puff pastry. Finally, we shut the pie maker and wait for about 8 minutes to get beautiful butter chicken pies. Here we have it, our beautiful, best ever butter chicken, plus a vegetarian or vegan version, and of course the crowd favourite butter chicken pie. Something for everyone. Don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. The recipes are on musicalmenus.com.au. You want me to say what? Really? Is that? It's time to have a party. It's time, in fact, to get it India. India. That was awful.